Someone looks you in the eyes and says, "I know you better than anyone." A best friend, a partner, or a parent who has watched you for years. For a moment, you believe them. They've collected all the data. Your birthday, your favorite food, the way you take your coffee. They know your childhood stories and the expressions you make before you even speak. Then you make a decision they never saw coming. You quit the career everyone thought you loved, or leave a relationship they believed would last forever. Suddenly, the script changes. They say, "I don't even know who you are anymore." This highlights a persistent gap in our social reality. Loved ones rarely interact with the complete you. They know the version that happened to exist while they were watching, an edited fragment of a much larger life. Imagine a massive sculpture in a museum, covered by hundreds of curtains. Every visitor is allowed to lift exactly one. One person sees the face, another sees the hands, another only the back. Every visitor leaves convinced they've seen the sculpture, but they've only seen an angle. Every person you meet is a walking puzzle. Because observers only hold a single piece, our sense of complete understanding is a product of our own imagination rather than actual evidence. Our brains use a process called thin slicing to navigate the world. Thousands of years ago, survival depended on rapid prediction over absolute certainty. If the rustling in the bushes might be a predator, it was safer to run first and ask questions later. We inherited that ancient software, and today it predicts people instead of predators. Psychologist Daniel Kahneman found that the human mind inherently avoids the mental effort of uncertainty. When information is missing, the brain doesn't leave an empty space. It automatically invents a narrative to finish the story. A single observation, like a friend forgetting to reply or a coworker staying quiet in a meeting, is immediately expanded into a complete personality trait. The brain takes one data point and writes an entire biography around it. This creates the halo and horn effect. Once a label is assigned, it acts as a filter for all future interactions. If someone is labeled intelligent, their mistakes are remembered as exceptions. If they're labeled difficult, those same mistakes become definitive proof of their character. We rarely update our first impressions. Instead, we defend them. Contradictory evidence is quietly discarded by the brain because maintaining a coherent story is more energy efficient than admitting we were wrong. Most of our social interactions happen between mental models. You aren't talking to a person. You're talking to the predictive model you built in your own head. We participate in this illusion through impression management. Subconsciously, we adapt our vocabulary, our posture, and even our laugh to fit the room. We offer different versions of ourselves to parents, bosses, and friends, prioritizing social cohesion over total transparency. This points to the problem of other minds. Consciousness is a private experience. You have direct access to only one mind, your own. Everything else is inference. You see a person's behavior, but you can never actually experience the thoughts or memories that produced it. Even our own internal access is limited. Neuroscientists have monitored brain activity as subjects make simple choices, like pressing a button. They found that the brain initiates the signal to move several hundred milliseconds before the person is consciously aware they've made a choice. Our awareness often arrives late, acting more like a narrator explaining an action that has already begun. Carl Jung described this hidden territory as the shadow. It contains every quality we've learned to reject or suppress. The anger we were told was bad, the ambition we thought was selfish, and the vulnerabilities we felt were weaknesses. These traits don't vanish. They move underground and influence our choices from the dark. This is often why we have intense, unexplained reactions to others. The qualities that irritate us most in a stranger are frequently the very things we've refused to acknowledge in ourselves. Genuine self-knowledge is elusive because the brain acts as a magician. It protects our existing identity by editing memories and creating convincing justifications, preferring a simple, safe story over the complex reality of our own unconscious. The impossibility of being fully known confirms our depth. Our internal landscape is simply too vast to be captured by a single observer or a single relationship. This complexity is biological. Through neuroplasticity, every conversation, failure, and heartbreak reshapes your brain's architecture. Pathways thicken with use, while others fade. Learning changes the learner. Neurologically, the person who woke up this morning no longer exists in the same form. Identity functions as a continuous stream of becoming. The moment someone claims to know exactly who you are, they are describing a historical record, a version of you that has already been rewritten. Judgment freezes relationships. It assumes the story is over and the characters are fixed. Curiosity, however, accepts that a human being is never a finished product. This active discovery is what keeps long-term relationships alive. It is the willingness to keep asking questions of someone you've known for years, acknowledging that they have the capacity to surprise you. We must also be curious about ourselves. Applying rigid labels like "I'm not creative" or "I'm just an anxious person" functions as a premature ending to your own story. These aren't facts. They are predictions that stop the process of exploration before it can begin. After all, you are an unfinished story. The most significant version of yourself isn't something you've already been. It's the version you haven't even met yet.